I come,
Yes,
sir?
please come, Srishti.
A very good afternoon, sir.
Very good afternoon to you too. Please sit down.
Thank you, sir.
So, Srishti, let's have your introduction.
Yes. So I'm Srishti Dabas. I was born and brought up in Delhi. I have done my schooling as well as graduation from Delhi itself. So I've worked with the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, and currently, sir, I'm working with the Reserve Bank of India, posted to Mumbai. I take keen interest in performing capital.
So, in what capacity you work? Okay, it's given here. Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, State Coordinator in PMU.
Yes, sir.
So, what was the subject of the PMU?
So the project monitoring unit.
No, that is
So
a cell, that is a unit. But what were they working on?
So we would go and do inspection of various institutions which were receiving grants and aid from the ministry. So based on our inspection report,
Were they NGOs?
Yes, sir,
Were there
including NGOs and old age homes.
So
drug
tell me,
rehab.
Srishti, as I was seeing from your DAF, you are working in RBI and you are earning so well, 2,80,000 per month, more than cabinet secretary. Then why do you want to come to the lowest rung of IAS or any other civil service?
So money for me would be a secondary consideration, sir. And the money that civil services will offer me, sir, would be more than sufficient for me as well as my family.
By the way, any idea what will be a beginner get? How much will he get in the IAS or in civil? Let's take IAS.
So perhaps 70,000-80,000.
70,000-80,000. You can't live in Bombay with 70,000-80,000.
Indeed, sir. So that's the reason why my salary appears so inflated, because I'm posted to Mumbai.
Okay,
There's
so
a
you
subtle difference between.
you get a house and you have
Yes.
put the money part also of housing in.
Yes.
So नहीं घर जो मिला है उसका भी होगा. You must have
including everything.
evaluated the house. So that was your own evaluation, or was it is it a set norm that this much house is costing or residential flat is costing so
Mumbai,
much?
sir, we get 75,000.
Oh, you get that for that.
Yes.
So tell me, you are from Delhi. Administrative model of Delhi is very unique.
Yes.
Is it not? Now, is it also ideal for good governance?
So I wouldn't call it ideal because of the challenges that come along with the model. So the clashes between the Lieutenant Governor and the Chief Minister of Delhi. So those create a lot of hindrance, specifically in the administration as well. So those issues need to be resolved.
So are you in favor of maybe tweaking this model or going back to the UT model?
So not tweaking as such, but certainly having more coordination and collaboration between the
But
two
don't you
sets.
think, Srishti, these things happen these days with governors and elected government also? Tamil Nadu is one case.
So this is a concern that prevails with respect to governors. And so in that regard, I feel there's more need for dialogue between the two centers of power. So also proper delineation of their responsibilities. That is very much important, so that all of them are working as per the constitutional morality.
All right. So you're with RBI. Tell me, don't disclose anything confidential, but this, you think that with inflation almost in control, not having reached 4%, but you think this repo rate can now be brought down?
So as per my understanding goes, so there are two prominent reasons which can be quoted for reducing the repo rate now. So one, since the inflation is under control, as you mentioned, being around 3.1% the core inflation. In that regard, so the inflation, the interest rate can be tweaked, because since the last 6 monetary policy committee meetings, it has been kept constant at 6.5%. And another reason would be, sir, to increase the consumption in the economy, to increase the money supply, and so that the purchasing power of the people increases. That would be another reason. So having said that, it is also being said that till the elections are not completed, RBI might not tweak with the repo rate. So perhaps
it may, with the consent of election commission, that is not an issue. But anyway, we just wanted to discuss on merit, looking at India's economic status today. You are a political science graduate basically, right? Tell me, are Indian elections inclusive?
Certainly, sir.
Mhm.
The inclusivity is being reflected through the usage of postal ballots also. Sir, even so for instance, the service voters are being allowed to go through it. Service voters. Sir, even the physically challenged people and old age people above 85
Okay, what is the
years.
latest provision for them? Some facilities have been imparted by election commission
Yes, sir.
in this election also. What are they?
So now they are being allowed to use the postal vote.
Are you sure?
Sir, as far as
Anyway, you kindly go back and see. We'll discuss later. So tell me, is multi-party system better for India or a two-party system like we have in US and UK?
So I would support a multi-party system itself.
But aren't we for the last three elections rather, UPA, NDA,
Yes.
and now India and NDA. So are we not ultimately, when the election times come, we resort to two-party system again?
Sir, that's because the will of people goes there, I believe. So, but apart from that, sir, there are various regional parties. We have national parties, state parties, and so a multi-party system would always be more inclusive.
Okay.
And
My last
so
question, Srishti. Good. My last question. One of the economic challenges today for India, despite being a robust economy, is unemployment.
Yes.
How do you think we could reduce unemployment?
So we see that currently unemployment stands at around 3.2%, and even worse is the situation with urban unemployment, which is at 6.5%. So to resolve it, sir, we need to focus more on self-employment opportunities, focusing more on building entrepreneurship mindset among the youth of today, so that we are able to harness the demographic dividend of India. So secondly, bringing about more skilling, specifically in upcoming areas such as artificial intelligence, cyber security. All those areas need to be tapped in, sir. And so thirdly, resolving the issue in agriculture as disguised unemployment is there. So these.
Srishti, government brought in this PLI. You know what is PLI?
Yes. So the production linked incentives.
And it had good results.
Yes.
Should the government introduce another scheme, job linked incentive?
Indeed, sir. So that.
How will that benefit?
So just like in PLI, the target is the production. In the same way, the target would be the employment.
Good.
So
Thank you, Srishti.
So good afternoon, Srishti. So you're from Delhi.
Yes.
So Delhi budget was announced recently.
Yes.
So can you share highlights?
So one of the most primary highlights was that Delhi is the only union territory and even across the states to have a budget surplus. So the tax receipts are more than the expenditure. So then various sectors were touched upon: education, health, transportation. Particularly, there was a provision for women also. The Mahila Saman scheme was brought about, whereby they be given rupees 1,000 per month.
So about this scheme, so is it a freebie or a subsidy?
So as such, it would be a freebie.
So how can you differentiate between a freebie and subsidy?
Sir, I'll have to check it, sir. I'm able to.
So now coming to RBI, you're working in RBI. So why RBI is seen as one of the best central banks in the world?
Indeed, sir. So the primary reason is that the developmental role that RBI has, which makes it a complete central bank. So the emphasis on financial inclusion and financial literacy that very few central banks of today have.
Now, is RBI trying to increase its brand value? There is an advertisement going on, RBI कहता है.
Yes, sir.
So, do you think so?
So the primary purpose of RBI कहता है is to increase the awareness among all the people with regards to the frauds that are happening, with regards to the various schemes of RBI. So I feel it's more about awareness campaign and to increase the financial education.
Do you think was RBI pretty harsh on Paytm issue?
So I consider that the step was necessary because of the supervisory concerns that were found with respect to Paytm. And so it wasn't that the crackdown was done in the very first instance, Paytm was given several chances to improve its regulation and compliance to the regulations. Even in 2022, earlier, RBI had said that. So I believe considering that, the step is
Now, if we talk about the electoral bonds data, whatever is out, so what can you infer?
So it has been mentioned the top paying corporates, their names have come about, and the amounts received by various political parties. So it is evident that the incumbent political party has received the major share of it. So these are the observations.
Okay. Now, can you suggest few police reforms which are need of the hour?
Certainly, sir, we are in the need of certain police reforms. So, first of all, there's a need to increase the women personnel in the police reforms. So, and particularly focusing upon the infrastructure that they receive, the drinking water facilities, etc. So, secondly, focusing on the mental health of the police officials. That is something that we neglect. So, thirdly, improving on the perception about the police in the general public. So having a direct connect between the citizens and the police. So for instance, in Delhi, we have a scheme called as Police Uncle. So that can be emulated at the central level. And so also specifically increasing the usage of technology in the policing.
So, Srishti, you underwent research fellowship for study on transgender community.
Yes.
Okay. So, can you name few schemes by Government of India for the transgenders?
So one is the SMILE scheme of the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment that improves on the livelihood facilities for transgender people. So one is the Garima Grih Kendras that are there for rehabilitation of transgender people.
Is there reservation policy for transgenders?
So as of now, we don't have at the central level, but so Karnataka has become the first state to provide a 1% horizontal reservation for transgender people in government jobs.
So, would you like to have it on the central level as well?
Certainly, sir. That is something that the respondents also demanded. And sir, in future, we may have a trans Shakti bill also.
So, thank you, Srishti.
Thank you, sir.
Srishti, your DAF indicates that you are the Global Youth Coordinator for India-Russia Youth Forum.
Yes, sir.
What did you do in this youth forum?
So, Global Youth is an apolitical, not-for-profit organization. So, their youth of today is being enrolled for more participation on regards to the diplomatic relationships and more discussions about that. So, there are sessions like Chat with the Diplomat to improve our understanding of the international affairs and to provide out-of-the-box solutions to resolve them.
Okay. Do you know there was a term earlier, Soviet Union?
Yes.
What was Soviet Union?
So it was a group of 14 countries which now have separated from Russia and have become economies in transition. EIT has been.
And there was a treaty also with India of Soviet Union.
Yes.
Which year it was and what type of treaty it was?
So it was the Treaty of Friendship with Russia, with the Soviet Union then, which was signed in 1971.
Okay. This Russia and Ukraine, they are now having a conflict for over 2 years or so. And some peace program is scheduled in Switzerland, I think.
Yes.
So what is that? This peace summit, what is that? And the India is also involved or getting involved. Can you tell me something about this? What is happening? India mediating or not mediating or what?
So with regards to the summit at Switzerland, so there Ukraine is coming up with a 10-point peace plan, and that will be discussed. That will include having a ceasefire, having more humanitarian aid, and even ending the war. So with regards to India's participation, sir, India has held the view that we are ready for mediation, but we won't go for it on our own, and we'll do that only if we are asked to do so.
Is India invited there?
So Yesterday only, sir, the president of Ukraine has said that if Indian Prime Minister participates, it would be very important, and perhaps then we can have a solution to the war.
Srishti, what are the viewpoints of China and India about this LAC? We are having some problems in Galwan and all that. No? What are their viewpoint, China? What is our viewpoint? What is the issue?
So the primary contention over LAC is because of whether we are considering the Johnson line or the McDonald line. So that is the
McMahon line.
And apart from that, sir, China is making incursions on our side of the territory. They are also building up various Yangon villages, and 5G deployment also they have done there. So that creates a security dilemma with respect to India, and even we are countering that. So it has become a vicious cycle whereby both nations are putting forth their hard power at the moment.
So do we have some agreements with China regarding this LAC? What type of troops will be there? How the troop will be deployed? How much troop will be deployed? What will be the distance from this perception of LAC? Do we have some agreements with them?
So some treaties have been signed, even MOUs have been signed. Sir, I'm not aware of the exact distance as such, but sir, even recently our Honorable Foreign Minister S. Shankar sir had said that since the situation at the border is intense, so it would be in the best interest of both the nations to have as minimum deployment at the border.
We are demanding something that
yes.
status quo ante should be there.
Yes.
What is this status quo ante? What Honorable Foreign Minister was talking about?
Sir, I'll have to read.
Okay. Srishti, regarding the solid waste management of Delhi, some eco-friendly or some good thing has been done by some solid waste management unit. I think, I don't know, Okhla or so, Tehkhand or something like that. What is that? Tehkhand, I think.
So we are coming up with the fourth unit
Haan,
at Tehkhand.
Tehkhand.
Till now we had 3.
Yeah. So what is the speciality of that Tehkhand unit? They say it is a
Yes.
quite eco-friendly type of thing. What is that?
So one is that the leachate over there will be treated at the very place itself.
Good.
And also there is emphasis on circular economy and making it waste to wealth. So that waste will be converted into a fuel, and the fuel will again power those machines which are collecting the waste. So that circular economy is being
And
established.
how it will affect our landfills? The solid waste management in this plant, how it will affect the landfill at Bhalaswa or somewhere? How it will affect that? What will happen to landfills then?
So I think the remaining 3 landfills have become a legacy issue as such, and we need to focus on that. But currently we are not doing that, sir. I think there is no connection between the two, sir.
No connection. My last question is about India's Green Credit Initiative program. What is the India's Green Credit? India has talked about Green Credit program in COP28 along with UAE,
Yes.
UAE and India. No? What is
Yes.
this Green Credit?
So it focuses on financing various green initiatives, and in that regard, sir, we have also come up with green bonds, sovereign green bonds worth rupees 16,000 crore in 2 tranches. So those will help in the financing of various projects for climate mitigation and adaptation.
Okay. Thank you, Srishti.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, Srishti.
Good evening, sir.
You come from Indraprasth College.
Yes, sir.
It's a college of repute
Indeed,
and
sir.
a big name and a fame. What is the USP of your college?
So one that it has very recently in Feb 2024 itself completed 100 years of its existence. And so the motto of the college is love, knowledge, service and respect.
Okay, and so with this motto, what have you taken from your college to be an aspiring candidate for civil services?
So one, focusing on the academic part of it, getting to learn more about the political structure of India and international relations. So since I did my graduation in political science itself. So secondly, being a part of NSS there in college. So I imbibed in a lot of qualities in me, be that of leadership or even discipline. So thirdly, taking part in various co-curricular activities in the college. So I was a part of the Abhivyakti Society as well, since my interest also aligns with that.
All right. Now I find that you perform Kathak.
Yes.
What level are you performing? The state level, or it's just like a professional or a connoisseur?
Sir, it's more of a hobby and interest. I did perform during my school days, college days, and even I got the opportunity to perform at RBI.
Okay, so if I had to ask you about Kathak,
Yes.
the finer nuances of Kathak as a dance
Yes.
art, in terms of mudras and in terms of bhav, what would those be?
So Kathak emerged as a storytelling. It said that Katha kahe so Kathak kehlai. So that storytelling part of it is very prominent. Using abhinay as well as mudras, various gestures, are various social messages also put forth. So secondly, Kathak is a very natural flowing dance form. So although it does have certain rules and but still it is more, there is more scope of improvisation in it, sir. For example, Jugalbandi is there in Kathak. And so one special peculiarity would be that it is the only Indian classical dance form which is associated with the Hindustani classical music.
Okay. Did you ever visit the Kathak Center in Delhi?
Sir, not till now.
Are you aware that there is a center here, the only national center for Kathak, promoting Kathak internationally?
So the Sahitya Academy.
No. You have a Kathak center in Chanakyapuri, the full building for Kathak, promotion of Kathak. So, what are the initiatives which what do you think that should be taken to promote this unique dance form across the world?
Yes. So one would be that we need to promote that this is not a dance form only for girls. So that thing needs to be promoted. Even boys need to be incentivized to perform. For example, using some role models, so such as Birjuji Maharaj. So secondly, capitalizing on the cultural heritage of India and spreading that through various means, even in schools, colleges. And for example, we can enroll Madhuri Dixit ji as the ambassador for it, and she can become the voice for making it global.
All right. Now, sometime back, one of my colleagues talked about RBI as a very robust body, which is a regulator for the monetary policy in India. But the flip side of it is that, for the last 5 years, you find that there have been a lot of NPAs with the nationalized and the private banks. Do you think that there was some lacking in the part of supervision on the part of the regulatory authority?
So one aspect here is that, sir, RBI cannot micromanage all the banks and financial institutions. It does establish an asset quality review and even a prompt corrective action mechanism. A CAMELS framework is also there for supervision. Sir, secondly, sir, currently we see that the NPAs overall have reduced, sir. It's around 3.2% and even the balance sheets of corporates are improving. So having said that, RBI can do even better, I feel, sir. More usage of technology is required. That is one arena that RBI can focus upon. So utilizing even artificial intelligence. For example, we have a Daksh mechanism. So I think all in all, sir, RBI is doing its part in handling the NPAs.
Okay. So, with respect to our NBFCs,
Yes.
Does RBI have any role to play?
So RBI does the regulation and supervision of NBFCs also. Recently, NBFCs were categorized into a fourfold, in 4 levels. That was done by RBI. And
Okay. Now, I want to have your free and frank opinion on the unification or consolidation of banks. And this has been a phenomena last year, before last, that banks have been consolidated. Do you think this is the right move? considering the monetary policy and considering the exercise of services which the banks have to provide to the masses at large?
So I would say it would depend on the very reason why we are going for a bank merger. So if it is to improve on the economies of scale and to have better technological synergies, so then it is fine. But we also need to keep in check that merely merger will not resolve the problems of, say, corporate governance. So for that, separate mechanisms have to be put in place. Also, sir, it needs to be checked that because of mergers, it should not happen that reaching to the local, rural level is being affected. So keeping all the points in mind, sir, a cost-benefit analysis needs to be done in every case of merger, and then it should be decided.
My final question to you, Srishti. Pollution is a perennial problem here in Delhi,
Yes.
and for negative reasons, Delhi has come in on the headlines of papers that is one of the most polluted cities in the world. Time and again, some kind of measures, sketchy measures taken here and there, and then the intervention of the High Court and the Supreme Court coming in, and then there's a danda there, and then something is done in the patchwork. Now, what do you think as an administrator ought to be done so that we are free with this kind of a pollution here in Delhi?
So I think the major focus needs to be on bringing about a behavioral change, because that is the root cause of pollution happening. So for that, we need to we need to take the help of social media influencers. They can become the voice of spreading a word about how to resolve pollution with our very small initiatives. So also focusing on PPPP, so the public-private philanthropic partnerships. So bringing about the private expertise to bring more technological solutions to the problem of pollution. So I think these.
But these are all long drawn exercise you're talking about in terms of immediate reform, or in terms of immediate action. What do you think need to be done?
So immediate would be to tackle the vehicular pollution and
Yeah.
the industrial pollution. So because these two are the prominent sources of pollution in Delhi. For vehicular pollution, sir, we are working on electric vehicles and hybrid vehicles. And sir, for industrial pollution, various green zones, green belts are being created, and use of catalytic converters is being promoted.
Thank you, Srishti.
Thank you, sir.
Srishti, anything from your DAF which we may not have covered so far? If yes, I can ask one last question.
So I think everything has been covered comprehensively.
All right. So thank you, Srishti. We are over with the interview. We'll call you again after a few minutes. Till such time, you can wait in the waiting. Come, Srishti, please. Please sitting.
Thank you.
So, Srishti, how was your performance today?
So it was fine.
It was fine. Okay. Better than what you had in your selection in RBI Group B?
So much better.
Much better than that. All right. So, Srishti, you were really excelled. You're very good personality. Your performance, overall performance has been very impressive. We are quite impressed. And when we say it is also relative, not just in absolute terms, because we have seen so many candidates. So you are one of the top category, candidates, and you have the potential of pulling a lot of marks in your interview, personality test. So I would not have much to add. You were, I would say, almost flawless. But 2-3 things, maybe the members will tell you what all, maybe even if there were small gaps or maybe some corrections, it's our duty to tell you, because lest if same kind of questions are asked and you make the same mistake. So just one point about the freebie. When the honorable member was asking, is it a freebie or some policy, this thing. Now, freebie is not defined in legal or administrative terms.
Yes.
You should never say, sir, it is a freebie.
Thank you, sir.
So, be very judicious in using this word freebie. So, we call it freebie, There's nothing like freebie. You know, even Supreme Court refused to say what is freebie. In one of the judgments way back in 2016, or I think later than that, previous to that. So what I'm trying to say is that don't use the word freebie as if, you know, बिल्कुल defined है कि ये freebie है, ये welfare measure है. So it is interpreted as a freebie. Normally, everything that government does with its money, with its, you know, state revenues and all, is more of a policy measure. But anything which is, you know, presumed to be, it is presumed to be like a freebie when it is done, you know, in the light of elections or just prior to the elections. However, you know, there's nothing which doesn't cost money, and everything that way mid-year, suppose if some scheme is launched by the government, don't call it freebie. You hail in the parliament, very good, very good.
Yes.
Are you getting my point? So be very selective about using it. Secondly, you mentioned about this postal ballot. So Commission has now come out with a new provision which is not postal ballot. Even otherwise it was never a postal ballot. Postal ballot are only for the service voters.
Yes.
And recently there was a move that, you know, the NRIs could be provided one-way postal ballot. You know, the blank postal ballot is sent through electronically. So, but you don't have to talk about it. What they have done is that the polling station will go to the PWD voters and physically challenged, as you were saying.
Yes.
They call it physical persons with disabilities, PWD,
Yes.
and the 85 plus people.
Yes.
So now the polling personnel will go to these people at home and they'll create a makeshift polling station and make them vote in a EVM, proper EVM. This is the latest. So I just wanted to correct you. Otherwise, Srishti, you are flawless. You are doing very well. And I'm sure you will do very well in the main interview also. Let's hear other members.
Yeah. Srishti, you are excellent candidate.
Thank you.
You've done very well. Your knowledge is very good. Your personality is also very good. Communication is very, very effective communication.
Thank you, sir.
So these are the very good things. Your knowledge is also good. I am just 2 or 3 things. You were talking about some carbon bonds.
So sovereign green bonds.
Sovereign green bonds, yeah. Actually, there is a little bit of difference. I mean, that is for the general industry purpose. This carbon credits initiative, it has come, I think, in the month of last year, December, I think. So after that, Dehradun agency, government agency, ICFRE, they have come out with the rules of this, how to take this credit, you know. This is a something very unique type of system that the business people, they give money to the forest department for plantations.
Yes.
And for each of the tree, I think 1 ton of carbon dioxide can be traded, sort of thing.
Yes.
ठीक है, 1 ton of carbon dioxide, and they get a certificate for that, and that certificate is tradable in the open market. So what they do, any other business who is not able to control its emission, he
buy it.
purchases that those things, and they both get benefit out of that, you know. So that is the thing, and the government also get benefit by getting all the wasteland and etc. to afforestation of the wasteland or dry land or fallow land. So वो इस टाइप से एक प्रोग्राम है. You what you do, ICFRE का जो वेबसाइट है, you go to the ICFRE website
Yes.
and see the green credit carbon credit initiative program. So
Yes.
then you will come to know what is this program is all about. It's a very unique type of program.
Yes.
Okay, so this is one thing, and it is related to that also, this sovereign bond what you are talking about, but that is at a very larger scale.
Yes.
Actually उसमें तो ये होता है ना, एक देश से दूसरे देश में भी हो जाएगा. अगर कोई अमेरिका में अगर कोई आपको क्रेडिट खरीद रहा है यहाँ से, तो आप यहाँ लगा दो, वहाँ अमेरिका में उसको बेनिफिट मिल जाएगा समथिंग. सो देयर सम सॉर्ट ऑफ डिफरेंसेस ओवर देयर. तो दोनों आप पढ़ लेना.
Yes.
ओवरऑल एंड दिस इंजीनियरिंग में आपको जो लैंडफिल हैं सृष्टि, ऑटोमेटिकली वो खत्म हो जाएंगे ना. वंस सॉलिड वेस्ट कम जाएगा वहाँ पे,
Yes.
it will get engineered in Taikhand. So what will happen? Less solid waste will go to Bhalaswa or to those places. What will happen then? They'll get flat and then they can be afforested.
Yes.
So ultimately we will be in a process to reduce the landfills in old landfills. उनको हम खत्म कर देंगे और खत्म करके वहाँ afforestation वगैरह कर देंगे.
Yes.
That is the final idea basically. ठीक है.
Yes.
तो ऐसे इंजीनियर अब एक से तो होगा नहीं, ऐसे हमको 2-3 और लगेंगे दिल्ली में. एक से नहीं होगा,
Yes.
ऐसे 2-3 और लगेंगे. तो एक अभी शुरू हुआ है, कभी एक हफ्ता पहले शुरू हुआ.
Yes.
तो उसको पढ़ लेना जरा सा. और दिल्ली की और भी चीज़ें पढ़ लेना. यशो भूमि पढ़ लेना. यशो भूमि जहाँ पर PM विश्वकर्मा स्कीम लॉन्च हुई थी. व्हाट इज PM विश्वकर्मा.
Yes.
भारत मंडपम जरूर पढ़ लेना. नई पार्लियामेंट के बारे में पढ़ लेना. ठीक है.
Yes.
वॉर मेमोरियल के बारे में पढ़ लेना. कल्चर, हिस्ट्री, ये सब पढ़ लेना.
Yes.
आप दिल्ली का जरा कंप्लीट कर लो. ठीक है. यू आर वेरी गुड कैंडिडेट. आई एम वेरी इम्प्रेस्ड विद योर कम्युनिकेशन, विद योर आंसर्स एक्सेट्रा. डन full justice to the all questions. Okay,
Yes.
you'll do well. All the best.
Thank you.
Well, Srishti, I feel that your interview is just coming on the 26th. I was highly impressed with your performance today.
Thank you.
Really highly impressed. I'm actually speaking that you have done so well in today's interview. Two things, I would like to state that when I spoke about RBI, the flip side of it,
Yes.
you came out with an answer which could have been more refined. They have circulars, lot of circulars. RBI have been following it up, but the issue came in with respect to enforcement. Where the issue is really mismatched. So the circulars were at place, everything was in order, but then in terms of enforcement, in terms of having some kind of audits taking place, where all this had happened and NPA grew over a period of time, and there were not many NPAs, and thereafter bad debts been written by the banks. So that answers could have been much better. But that's only one of the questions that I thought maybe could have come out much better. But overall, you ticked on all boxes to be a deserving civil servant.
Thank you.
All the very best.
Thank you, sir. So actually, sir, while I was speaking, I could also feel that I am taking more side of RBI. So, but what else can RBI do? I couldn't understand that because sir, auditing is not done by RBI.
I know it's not been done, but they have these branches all over India. They have RBI officers posted all over.
Yes.
And they do have, for regional areas, they have jurisdiction over regional areas. And they could have a better interface with the banks, with the regional managers, with the banks, so coming out with some kind of a mechanism. Or this is one area where you could come out of the out-of-box thinking also. You could have some kind of a monitoring mechanism where RBI can always plan out some kind of a monitoring mechanism where a feedback, all banks have to give some kind of feedback or a data back, and they analyze, and then they give their feedback, and they give what kind of corrective measures need to be taken. So
Yes.
that's what I thought would have been
Yes.
an answer more appealing. But just leave it aside. You are on 26th March, and just not very far away.
Yes.
But areas of Delhi, of course, Delhi, your area, you need to just go through all these areas which he has pointed out,
Yes.
and I'm sure you're going to have a good score, really good score.
Thank you, sir.
So Srishti, same opinion, very good personality, good communication. You are ready for the interview. अगले 4 दिन में सिर्फ रिवाइज कीजिए
Yes.
कंटेंट को, अभी और मॉक्स मत दीजिए क्योंकि
Yes, so this
यू आर
one-
रेडी.
this is my last note.
तो अभी
I
खाली
kept it
आप
at the last.
रिवाइज कीजिए. इफ प्रेफरेबल साड़ी पहन के जाएंगे आप,
Yes, sir. Right.
ठीक है, फिर ठीक है. हाँ, देख लेना, अगर उसके ऊपर कोट भी पहन पाओ तो इफ यू आर कंफर्टेबल एक बार चेक कर लेना आप. ठीक है, अदरवाइज यू हैव डन वेल. आई एम श्योर यू विल स्कोर वेरी हाई इन द एक्चुअल इंटरव्यू आल्सो. विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट.
Srishti, any questions?
Sir, regarding that governor, sir, was I being too critical?
Sorry?
A governor, because of the clashes between governor
Oh,
and...
governor. So you didn't say much. You mentioned about lieutenant governor in Delhi.
So you
See.
asked whether it's an ideal model or not, and I said
Yes.
no.
Yes. So what I would suggest is that that is why I asked you that, you know, in states also this is happening.
Yes.
So your answers seem to be, you know, quite in order. This is that certain guidelines, which Supreme Court has also, you know, given those guidelines.
Yes.
So there is something, Srishti, which is beyond what we can talk. You
Yes.
know, it's political.
Yes.
Everything that CM Delhi does is criticized by LG,
Yes.
and everything that LG does is criticized by.
Yes.
So it's more a political thing. But it is a good debatable subject whether this model is ideal. You know,
Yes.
frankly speaking, left to me, you know, I would say that it is not a good form of governance.
Yes.
You know, the IAS officers, IPS officers, they are not under the elected government. Then what is the sense of governance?
Yes.
You know, so you don't have to come out with any radical ideas also.
Yes.
You know, I think you should end up only with this, ki, sir, there needs to be a better coordination and restraint, you know, at the level of, and they should concentrate more on using their own, the sphere of powers that they have, you know, within that.
Yes.
And rests, whatever rhetorics we see, maybe it is not actual reflection of the lack of governance. It is more of a rhetoric, you know. So that way.
Yes.
Any other question?
So,
So, Srishti, we have given you 70% today.
yes.
This is one of the highest that you know this panel has been giving to the best candidates, and you can certainly score beyond this also. So this is just to motivate you further, and you will do very well. If you have done your mains, how have your mains? How have you have done your mains?
Sir, GS, I couldn't analyze how it went, but sir, optional, I feel it went really good.
All right. So you have very bright chance of earning more marks here in the interview,
Yes.
and whatever you have done in mains, if you have done well, I think you have a very strong chance of getting in. All the best.
Thank you, sir.